Welcome to the Unioverse. I'm Empty Pencils and I'm going to be showing you how to use the level editor in Proving Ground. So what you want to do is head over to Create, select the level editor. You'll be greeted with this screen. As you can see, still in alpha, so things are going to change, but it's still worth jumping in because it's loads of fun. So let's get started. I'll just step you through the UI quickly. So what you got here is all your building blocks on the left-hand side. You've got platforms, walls, blocks, interactive objects, traps. At the top, you've got your undo, redo, origin point for the handle, and then center. You've got move, rotate. These are your gizmos for moving the objects. And then you've also got the snap. There's also a help over here. So that gives you some indication of some of the tools you can use. All right, let me load in the demo stage I built for you. I'll quickly show you what everything looks like. So here we got the platforms. If you want to navigate within the space, you can use your right mouse button to tilt from the camera perspective. Middle mouse button lets you pan with Alt. You can pan up and down. And if you hold Alt and left click, you can pan on that gizmo that shows up. Oh, tilt, sorry. Right. We've got your basic elements, your platforms, your walls, your blocks. So out of all of those, you can rotate them in any direction you want. So if you switch between W for move and E for rotate, you can see you can rotate these however you please. Same as these. Same as these. All right. Another way to rotate things is when you actually drag them in. While you still have the mouse button down, you can hit X for one axis and Y for the other. But once you let it go, those buttons no longer have an impact, but you can still use a gizmo, so not too bad. Another neat trick is explained in the help file. If you go back to the move gizmo, you hold D and you drag on one of the arrows, it duplicates. All right? But if you hold Shift D, you get continuous duplication. So the only thing to keep in mind is how many parts you have left, which you can see on the left-hand side. Right, let's go through some of these objects. These are your interactive objects. You've got your ledge, your wall run, the jump pad. Ledge is pretty straightforward. The only thing you need to keep in mind is spacing between the different ledge objects, which I can illustrate over here. Let's just hit this, hit F to focus, we'll bring it in. So these are spaced just enough so that the player can reach each one when jumping. This one on the side here, this gap is too large, so you can see how close those margins are. So just keep that in mind, always test. Next we'll have the jump pad over here. These are pretty cool. You can control how high the arc is and how far they go with this controller here. You can also rotate it this way. I haven't had much success rotating it this way, so I'm not sure that's worth doing. If someone else figures it out, I'm happy to find out how it works. And we're moving on to the wall run. This is important to note that the origin point is at the bottom. If you've moved your handle to the center, you won't know, but the green arrow should be facing up. So that's how you know it's the right orientation. If it is upside down, the animation doesn't run correctly. So I can quickly show you that. Let's just go here, test. So this is the correct side. and this is janky side. So as you can see, not ideal. It might still work, but it doesn't look pretty. All right. So next, we'll be moving on to platforms. So here's the moving platform. When you select it, you can see the controllers come up. We'll have a point A, a point B. Starting position is normally point A, and end is B. On this one, I have a zonal trigger. So as you can see here, trigger mode zone. That means when players go into the red square, it will automatically trigger the lift. So this can be moved and also resized with the corner over there. Over here, we've got the lifter, which is the same controllers as the platform. You've got your stop conditions, your speed. Start offset just is between point A and point B, so you can change that. Your trigger mode, this one is a target that you have to shoot in order to get it to run. This arm length, I think, is just an offset, so you can pull it away from the controller and it will still operate. All right. As you can see here, this is your start location. So whenever you build a level, you start in this location, and this is the end point. You want to get into this portal. Let's go through what the traps do. So these are just your standard mine. If you touch it, you blow up. This is your laser mine. If you touch the beam, the mine blows up. It does depend on how far you are from the actual mine to see how much damage it produces. So keep that in mind. This laser beam, this is instant death and indestructible. So you can't damage these. So keep that in mind. You can, however, control it with this. So you can make it as wide as you like, which means if you place it in a smart location, you can get more than one use out of it. That's worth keeping in mind. Also, there's an offset controller. So if you really want to get particular about getting a speed run mechanic in there, you can set it so that you can hit it first time without having to stop. Let's see. So another thing I want to show you is selections. You can drag and select items, but you can also hold down control to add different objects. Now, one thing I noticed is the last object you select is the orientation the gizmo will have. So as you can see here, that's using the box's direction to control everything. Even if I go into the center selection, it still has the same effect. So if you're manipulating a lot of objects and you still have some to spare and you just want to have a standard left to right kind of movements, it's worth just dragging another object in, leaving it to the side, selecting everything, and then select that one last, and then you should have, yep, there you go, should have easy orientation to use. And then you can just delete it afterwards. Delete it and you just hit the delete button, boom, gone. Let's see, what else do we need to know? Look at this little thing here. So here I've got a ladder set up. These are slightly temperamental. You want to make sure that the top of the ladder is lining up with the base of the next platform that it's reaching, or object, whatever it is. The bottom isn't important. As long as the player can jump and reach it, you'll be fine. These, you want to make sure that the gaps are right, so that there's no issues with the player unable to reach. This is actually possible to jump across, but it does have a very awkward camera move. And then over here, I've just shown the distance that's too big for the player to actually manage. So you can't mount that, he'll just drop straight away. And yeah, I want to show you again with that gizmo why it's so cool. If, for instance, you've built a section of your stage and you want to move it, and you've got it set to the original origin point, which is default, you can move left and right, no problem. But when you want to rotate, things start to get a bit all over the place, right? But don't fear, if you change it to the center, you go again, you can move everything as it's spaced. So this is super useful if you've built a section, you want to add something in between, you can literally just select everything and move it over. And let's see, the only other thing that you really need to know that's super helpful is spawn points. So these can be added anywhere. I'm sure there's loads of them because there's no number underneath. It's useful for players not to get frustrated having to redo the level over and over again if they can't make it first time. But it's also even more useful when it comes to testing your levels. So you can just place it wherever you like say for instance this one, have it selected, hit test, and your character will just spawn on that location. I didn't know this at the start, so there was a lot of painful experimentation. But yeah, now that I know how to use that, I can create levels so much faster. And that's pretty much all you need to know when it comes to using the tools. There are going to be more objects released down the line that you'll be able to purchase from the Unioverse. And once you're done with everything, you want to save it. You can save up to 5 different levels at a time. Hit save. And then you can submit. So once you do this, you can't edit the submission. This is final, right? You give it a name, hit submit, you'll get a code, you copy that code, and this is what you want to share within the Discord. So anyone will be able to play your level, and yeah, you'll get feedback. You can do all kinds of fun stuff with it. Really cool. And yeah, that's basically it. So go out, have fun, build, and share. Later, everyone.